Hello and welcome to the late Apex. Once again, myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, is alongside David Sampson, and we'll be discussing all the latest in the world of sim racing. We've got news about Moza, about Raceroom, about Project Motor Racing, and of course, a lot of talk as well about ESR1 and the finale and how our Apex Racing team are getting on over in Saudi Arabia. But David, how are you?
I am good. Hungry, but that has nothing to do with the sim racing news.
Sure. I don't know what sim racing news could induce hunger, unless maybe there was a new
Uh,
Rennsport circuit in the shape of a donut or
yeah,
something.
or what the boys have been doing 7, 8 hours, long days.
Long days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the ESL. What's it called? The Esports World Cup.
Esports World Cup.
What a
Yeah.
name.
More on that later on, but let's jump straight into Moza, because one of the fastest growing sim racing brands. It's one of the biggest sim racing brands at this point, and they have revealed a few things over at Gamescom, which has been going on this week. The first one, which I think is maybe most relevant for us sim racing nerds, is their pedals, and one of their pedals is as the title of this podcast suggests, a rival to Simucube's active pedal. They're even calling it their M booster, but they mention active pedal a lot.
Yeah, I think it's great looking pedal. I've got it here. Screen, which I'm gonna now first time. That's
So it's gone disastrously wrong. Shall we try mine?
try yours.
Okay, mine works. I don't know why that didn't work. But anyway, here's the page. After years of innovation, Moza have engineered a revolutionary structure with an advanced electronic control system. This is once again a motor pedal rather than a spring pedal, which
Or a
is
hydraulic or elastomer.
exactly.
There's 4 major types now we got.
And this will make it much more customizable when it comes to software as well, when it comes to the positioning of the wheel and what you want to do with it. And this is quite a breakthrough. Well, maybe not breakthrough, but this is quite a major step because other sim racing brands have been making sort of their own version of the active pedal. After Simucube, of course, first released theirs some 18 months ago or so. But Moza, of course, we know will make it to a high quality, and we know as well will make it very, very cheaply as well, because that is what they do with a lot of their products.
Yeah, we don't know a lot about this price-wise, but yeah, the software includes everything from the starting position, your travel, dampening on the way down, dampening on the way up, and that is something I want to try, dampening on the way up, but more on that. Friction, the things you're used to, but being able to customize the position and travel width, all in the software, but then also being able to use it like a motor, like you change the linearity, yes, linearity of, horrible word, of the throw. Like rather than just having a dead zone, you can have a feeling at certain percentiles, whether at the
Sure.
top end and the bottom end, and you can change the curve. But I've seen it where people, as an example, when I was with Simucube, they showed me this clutch setup, just as an example where the force field ramped up until it was really heavy, then a huge drop off, and then ramped up again. So it actually felt almost like it felt really weird because you could stay in that zone because you had high resistance either side.
Sure.
So
Okay.
very
Yeah. Yeah.
strange. Yeah, like obviously I'm not recommending this for sim racing, but yeah, the ability is there. But as I say, the biggest thing, price, we know nothing about. I've heard guesstimations between 800 and 1,000, which would be
That's what some of the sort of equivalents in this market are at, sort of. But I'm not sure if they're necessarily to this standard. Like I think with the Azatec ones, for example, it's more of like an add-on rather than an entire
that's
like
what I
new
took it.
pedal.
Yeah,
So this might be a bit more expensive, and it would be understandable if that was the case. Also, because Simucube sell them by the pedal, whereas it seems like these are going to be more sold by like 3 pedals. I guess you will be able to buy just one pedal to
for sure.
accompany your existing pedals, right?
Well, they do a more basic throttle if you do just want the one. Um, if you do just want the one motor and the other standard spring-based throttle. But yeah, the M Booster active pedals, but they've also got, I see on your screen, the CRP2 pedals, which is their they're high-end load cell pedals, more standard.
Yeah.
They look good. They look a lot, obviously, like the M Booster pedals, but just their new iteration of load cells. I think they're 200 kilograms, so they're solid.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, as far as I'm aware, no one really goes above like 140, right? That's what I've heard. Do people go
No.
above 140?
1 sec. I'm trying to get my numbers. I think 180. I think is the Hussenveld sprints, and then like the 160, 140 ranges of the VRS and the Opmeer
Sure,
pluses.
okay.
I think.
But in terms of like how much force someone would apply.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot without G-forces. With G-forces in real life racing cars, that's nothing. But we don't get thrown forward in our seat.
Yeah.
Hello to Thomas Sanson in chat. These guys again, but quoting that is an Alan phrase.
Yeah, I don't know where Alan is. Make yourself known.
He would have.
He sure would have. He would have said something insulting already. But yeah, here's the page. Of course, yeah, 200 kg, which is the same actually as the active pedal, in terms of its capabilities. So yeah, if you're I guess if you're looking to get some pedals, then maybe probably don't hold off. I think probably get your existing pedals because we don't know when these are going to be out. But yeah, there might be.
Their other announcement, I say I can't share my screen, is the wheel, which partnership-wise is huge, but looks
probably isn't
divisive.
We both like how this looks, but I don't think either of us would buy it. Again, we don't know what the cost is, but I'm thinking probably at least $2,000.
I mean, it's way too gamery for me. Because unfortunately, as good as they've done it, it does look like an embedded Android phone in a flat glass wheel. I mean, I appreciate its uniqueness. I think that's my biggest award it gets. It does not look like any other.
Do you think there's enough buttons on there? Like if you're thinking you need a headlight flash,
doesn't look like it.
Wipers.
Is it touchscreen though?
Oh, it'll be touchscreen, I meant. Well, one would hope.
I'm not going to be using touchscreen while driving though. No way.
No, yeah. Well, you don't want to be looking down at your wheel, right?
No, correct.
To figure out stuff.
But yeah, in partnership with Porsche, because that is a replica of the Mission R wheel.
Which is in a lot of sim racing games, but it's not exactly loved on any one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it looks. Yeah, I read it had a quad-core processor and an OLED screen. I mean, it's nicer than some people's phones.
I didn't really notice as well, but is it curved?
Does look it, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. So sort of the handles are in front of the actual wheel, at least. So not necessarily the wheel. Well, maybe the wheel itself is curved actually. No, that's yeah. It's a cool design.
Hey, no, flexible. Scroll up. Flexible OLED. Oh, would it be flexible with?
Yeah, curved 300R.
Wow, that's not going to be cheap then, by the way.
No, actually, yeah, maybe my $2,000 was a bit of a lower estimate. Yeah, quad-core high-performance processor in it as well. So yeah, it's pretty high-end stuff, but yeah, unlikely that will be used too much. But of course, it is a sign that they're in Porsche's good books, and of course, Porsche invests probably more than anyone else in the world of sim racing by quite a margin. So that could be a very rewarding partnership for them.
Yes, indeed.
Well, we can move on then from Moza, and of course do read into more of that if you so wish. But Raceroom have announced that they will be revealing or launching a very big update on September the 4th.
I mean, their biggest update in years.
Yeah, I think, in 3 or 4 years at least. Since their biggest update. I think the thing that maybe is most interesting to a lot of people will be the graphics updates.
I agree.
Overtake.gg did a fairly good article where they, to be fair, at one point they pretty much just quote, but we can see some of the images here where you got at the top the old and at the bottom the new. Now, what I would say is that, like, I was reading through this and it's not like mind-blowing stuff, but a lot of it is just optimization. So, for example, this frustrum stuff means that basically, rather than rendering everything, they're just rendering the stuff that you can see.
Yeah,
and so
which allows them to bump the quality with an FPS improvement.
Exactly. Yeah. So just doing this optimization stuff is really big. Also, they've just got a LUT now on the game, which is quite a simple solution, but like
Correct.
it makes it look a lot better when you can change the colors on the game and change the
Yeah, I saw that they've improved the shadow rendering, like the auto exposure's now there, so it won't just be one level of brightness now. If you're turning into a darker area under a shadow, you're going to feel the change. Yeah, so they've been able to bump up them reflections, lighting, bokehs, motion blurs, depth of field, all the juicy stuff that they probably already had, but just not been able to implement because of FPS limitations. So yeah, like Sam mentioned, they've been able to get such performance gains that they can cram in high res textures, graphics, lighting, all the good stuff. I actually thought you was going to say, I do agree it is graphics, but I mean, everyone loves GT3s, and they're adding the full 2024 DTMs, which are nowadays just GT3s.
Yeah.
And that does include the new McLaren 720 Evo, whatever you want to call it, that long name. The Lamborghini, yeah, the full spread of cars. But as a free, not free, because I doubt it's going to be free. Also the 1995 full grid of DTMs, which
yes.
I mean,
We're not exactly, we don't have nostalgia over 1995 DTM, but I appreciate a lot of people will do.
correct.
And of course, they host the official DTM championships on Raceroom, so it is quite a big deal for them. They've got a lot of historic circuits as well coming. So Hockenheim, also Avis, the original Avis. I think that's that massive oval that used to exist with huge banking and stuff. I don't think that would be much fun, honestly, but it's coming. And then Defaults, if I pronounced that anywhere near correctly,
Better than
which
I'd
is
have said.
basically an airfield. I actually watched an onboard clip of that one in another sim, I think, and it is a insane circuit. It's like a Formula E circuit, but without it being in a city. In terms of like really like just narrow chicanes and stuff like that. Doesn't look fantastic, but I appreciate if some people have nostalgia, and of course they're filling up the cars as well. I think they've already got all the cars from 1993. But yeah, now they're going to have all the cars from 1995 as well.
Yep. Oscherslieben's getting a full laser scan and coming into the game. Nordschleife, Rebel Ring, Sepang, and a few other tracks that I can't pronounce are getting a full update, sort of I don't know if you want to say rescan, but an update, if you may.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, like, I've always liked this game. It was free, it was I think it was the first I ever downloaded of the quote unquote sim titles.
Sure.
But I just at first didn't play it because a little bit hard to set up back then and compare it to its rivals like AC and R Factor 2 back then for me. But it's always been around. It has a great following, especially in the classic scene. And yeah, I think this is a good quality of life update.
Sure is.
And it's on the 40th anniversary of DTM.
Yes. Yes.
But no, I'm looking forward to trying that out actually.
Yeah, that will be all good on there. We'll move on in a moment. Matt's Yestrin back in chat. Welcome, Matt. Asking no news on AC Evo. Is that slightly worrying? Perhaps so. When is AC Evo coming out? It's this fall, isn't it?
I don't think we would do any updates yet. I think they're being quite quiet.
Yeah.
And I can understand why. They've got 2 active games. AC is the largest sim racing title on the planet for numbers. For sim races.
No, I think. Oh, sure, yeah. I was going to say like Gran Turismo and stuff, but no, like
sim
proper
races.
sim.
Us
racing.
elitist. Yeah. And then obviously ACC again is a very active title. There were 7,000 to 9,000 people a day. So they're probably just being a little. I mean, I want to know. Are they going to try and feel some awkward middle ground?
Yeah.
Are they going to absorb both? Like, yeah, there's things I want to know, but I'm willing to wait. But no, I don't think it's bad news yet.
No, they've got time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's going to come out summer this year, so if they had to delay it till 2025, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Talking of delays, Project Motor Racing have released some more news.
Is it actually delayed? Sorry, you just said talking of delays. Is Project Motor this one delayed?
Well, it was meant to come out this year, but it's coming out next year.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that.
Okay, sure. The reason why they were delayed was because they were trying to use Unreal Engine, and then they were like, this doesn't work for VR, so we're going to scrap this. And then they signed a deal with farming simulators publisher Giants Software, and now Giants Software, or like the farming sim graphics engine, is being used for Project Motor Racing. Not a surprise. I think they even hinted at it before, saying, well, we're going to reveal some updates about the game pretty much when they originally mentioned that they were in collaboration. So, yeah, no surprise there. But at least some progress being made for Project Motor Racing.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting the two other sims confused. Project Motor Racing and the other Endurance Motor Racing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They changed engines. Yeah, hopefully a good call. Obviously, he talks the big talk. This is the Ian Bell project, so fingers crossed. Hopefully, they get rid of all the farming things because that'll be awkward. I kid. It seems like a successful engine. Let's see.
Yes, I've not done Farming Sim. I know for a fact that if I downloaded it, I would never leave my house again. So that's something that I don't want to get into, along with Football Manager as well.
I've said this before, but I liked Football Manager when I was a kid. The one thing I liked, he said, a couple months back, he said we're using iRacing as our candle, and I thought that was for me, it was quite the thing I wanted to hear.
Sure.
Because, other games sometimes want to be something else, and that's just not the direction I want to see them go. But, that's just a personal preference. In other news.
Jarno Opmeer.
Yes, the former Mercedes driver, two-time F1 esports champion, and, let's face it, prolific streamer, has joined Red Bull.
Is he the most popular esports streamer in sim racing, you think? Besides Max.
What, across all of sim racing?
Across all of sim racing, yeah.
That isn't a professional driver.
That is a professional driver, yeah. Like, of course, you got others, but like
I think
Jimmy
so.
and
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
But yeah, he is gone to Red Bull Sim Racing. Has Jarno? This is an article from Traction. They call it a shock move. Of course, I think he announced him leaving Mercedes. It was a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah, and everyone was guessing Red Bull, so it's not a shock to me.
Where do you go above Mercedes at that point? Like, surely there's only one place to go at that point.
Yeah, Red Bull's it's a company in hype, right? So it makes sense. They're doing very well, our Red Bull, in the racing scene. Let's put it that way.
Not sure when the next season of F1 esports will begin, or F1 sim racing, of course, now it's called. But last year it started in December, so maybe the same this year, I think would be a reasonable guess. So that is Jarno Opmeer. Best of luck to him. Jeddah has been added to Rennsport. Now, we were very impressed by how this looks. I think Singapore during the day looks a bit cursed.
Look at this.
Thank goodness it doesn't look like that. But I think this place actually looks better during the day than it does during the night, honestly. I think it looks really like Floridian or Californian during the day. I think it looks real neat. I think in the day you don't quite see enough.
Who makes these trailers?
Oh, they are good, yeah.
Because, I mean, Rennsport trailers are always the best. By a chunky margin. iRacing's never done. Look at that's real water. I'm sorry, go back, Ghost Preston. Look.
It's something from like a GTA game.
Yeah, it looks great. That looks stunning, to be honest. So yeah, if you've got 6 4090s and you want to queue them up next to each other and a couple of CPUs and a Threadripper and your 8K panel, do it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it doesn't look as good as that. And they didn't race it at night, which was a shame.
Like I said, I really like it during the day, but it's had 1.9 thousand views on YouTube. I don't think there's been much talk about this necessarily, which I think might be a good thing. When this got announced, I thought, considering that it's already been criticised the game for having a lot of Saudi influence, I sort of thought that this actually, when it came to consumers, would be a negative. But I think I actually searched for it on Reddit, and there was like one post in the Rennsport Reddit, and it had like 3 comments on it. It wasn't on the sim racing Reddit, for example.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think if anything, that's probably a good thing, because I think a track like this probably has such a negative connotations.
Yeah,
good word.
I agree. I mean, Rennsport's a difficult thing to sell. Like right now, They should just focus on their ESL, get that delivered, you know, produce good racing, good content, and then think about what their plan is. Because I feel like they think they have the plan for the other bit, but I just don't feel it.
No.
You know, so yeah. I mean, they announced Jeddah like basically over the ESL again. This is all very focused on ESL, and I've got nothing against that. So yeah, I mean, I think the racing was really good at the track. It does look good. I'm itching to try it. So yeah, that says a lot. Oh, you're adding. I've seen the other announcements we're
Yeah,
talking
the
about.
other announcement. So there was a TikTok, which was. So I don't know where I saw this,
I must have seen it on TikTok.
but I don't use TikTok. So I think I saw it on another social media platform. I think it was on Instagram. But I think basically Rennsport basically announced that they were bringing the Aston Martin into
GT3.
the Aston Martin GT3 into Rennsport. But then they've taken it down. Now, this ESR1 going on in Saudi Arabia is sponsored by Aramco. Aramco are a major sponsor, I think maybe even title sponsor of Aston Martin F1 race team. So it would make sense on Sunday when it comes to the last day of the event for them to go.
I think
And we're bringing the Aston Martin GT3.
where they were competing at ESL1, they're all sitting in a circle.
Yes.
You see what's in the middle?
It's a Aston Martin F1 car.
Yeah. So yeah, it did make sense. Jeddah and the Aston Martin partnership. I'm just praying Aston Martin are a manufacturer for next season, and we get 2 or 3 Aston Martin teams, or whether teams will just transfer. I don't know if we're going to get more teams. 24 car grids, Rennsport. So I want more.
Yeah. It'd be really positive. And I think it'd give the other manufacturers confidence as well in the project if they see Aston Martin invest in it as well. So would be really good. Lawrence Stroll can afford some money to pay some drivers to take part in ESL1, I'm sure.
Yep.
So
With 1,400 Twitch views, it's looking promising. Moving on.
Apex Racing Team. Well, we're not moving on really because we're talking about ESLR1. So you backed yourself into a corner here, David.
No. I'll find a door. I'll find a door.
Well, yeah. Good luck. So yesterday, of course, Apex Racing Team. We work with the guys at Apex Racing Team, and
We teach them like driving and braking.
Yeah. We don't want to hold their hand. They need to learn themselves occasionally, but yeah. All their good results down to us, and they had some very good results yesterday.
Yep.
It was the Drivers' Championship. Now, the way that it works was that you have like 48 drivers. The top 9 get straight through into this one-day event where like it pretty much gets decided. Then 3 others get picked from another race with 12 drivers, which were the positions from like 10th down to 21st from the regular season. Johan and Jamie got into the one-off race and they needed to finish top 3. Jamie unfortunately got involved in an incident at the start, fell back. But Johan managed to squeeze through in 3rd place by like 0.2 of a second or something at the line and managed to get into the one-day events along with Kevin S. Jr., who'd already qualified during the online rounds. And they had a very good time of it. Kev managed to finish in P6. Johan managed to finish in P11.
After a very long day. We're talking like 8 hours of
so for
competing mindset.
Johan, I think it was 10 races that he did.
Of course, he did the before thing.
Exactly, yeah, and it went on for a while. But Kev did really well, P6. I think he got beat by 4 BMWs and Rogers, which is an amazing achievement. So really, really good. Wasn't far behind Benneker and Rogers, actually.
And obviously, this is the Esports World Cup being currently held at Saudi, and it for big prize money. Let's not forget.
Big prize money, so yeah. Certainly when it comes to the teams. The winner of the Drivers' Championship was Kevin Siggy, who wins his first championship. And the first championship actually for Redline, which is half surprising because obviously they have Job. Job had a tough time of it. He won 4 races in a row to get into finalist mode. So once you get into finalist mode, whoever wins a race when they're in finalist mode wins. And unfortunately, the wins dried up. And he couldn't win any of the remaining 4 races. Siggy and I think Benneker managed to get into, and maybe Rogers as well, managed to get into the finalist mode. but it was Siggy who got the first race win under finalist mode, and yeah, it was the 9th race of the day, I believe, and he managed to win it.
And you said all that, but you missed out the key
The
bit.
interesting bit, yeah.
He at one point headbutted the wheel and was then surprised to find himself bleeding in two places.
Have you seen the clip?
Yeah, unbelievable.
It was surprisingly light hit.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be a.
Yeah, it was.
I've seen anyone who's into tennis, and you should YouTube this. Mikhail Yuzhny, back in like 2008, got a tennis racket, and he went into his head, and then like walked off the court because blood was dripping out of his forehead. I was expecting something like that. Instead, it was more of a.
Yeah, it was a couple of hits, and he ended up with 2 marks.
Exactly, and immediately you see the gashes, and I can only describe it as gashes, like proper cuts in his forehead. However, this was at the end of a bit of a tricky run for the guy. He was struggling in qualifying, and that's why he was bashing his head, because he was struggling in qualifying. He drove better after that.
He actually, Kevin had such a solid day. It really hats off to him. Like, it was really impressive. He looked dominant. I mean, the battle it was Kevin v Kevin, our Kevin versus Siggy at Spa, and they ended up side by side out the last corner, but Siggy managed to just get it, and yeah, he just had it. He had it, and he's looking like he still has it today. He's looking rather beastly.
25 grand he won for that event.
And then it's through to teams where every driver comes back. So every team gets their 4 drivers, split into 2 groups. Yes, I think 2 groups or 4 groups. 2 groups.
I think it's all mixed around. I think everyone races everyone. I think today.
I can't. I've been busy.
But yeah, 12 teams. Top 4 get straight through to Sunday. Bottom 2 get eliminated
after 7 races. Yeah.
Well, there are 8 races today. 8 races today, and then 5th down to 10th form 6 teams, and they have like a playoff tomorrow. So you don't want to finish outside the top 10, otherwise you're out. But you would like to finish in the top 4 because then you're guaranteed to get
free
to
pass.
Sunday.
Yeah.
We finished in the middle. We finished 7th, which is fine. We were well above the cut of getting eliminated. We were a bit off the top 4. Like 12 points, so it wasn't out of reach necessarily, but you know, there was a lot of other teams who got similar amount of results as us, and so we go into tomorrow needing to win our group. We get put in a group with 2 other teams. It's BS and G2, and if we can beat BS and G2 over the course of what we believe is 3 races, we win. Or we get through to Sunday. And if we get through to Sunday, then we stand to win plenty of money and a lot of prestige.
All the prestige. Sunday's going to be tricky. Obviously, you've cut the fat. It's the best of the best. And the prizes are huge. We're talking 200-odd thousand, I think.
200. No, it's not 200 grand. I think it's 150 grand for the team champions.
Know.
So, yeah, it's not really worth it.
Take the Sunday out, yeah. Just sleep in. Yeah, so all to compete for. It has been, I've really enjoyed, some of the battles have been.
I think it's been better. I think before they left, I think, not sure who it was, maybe it was Jamie, but was saying how they've upped the draft. And I think it's helped a lot. And we've been calling for this for a while because sure, realism, whatever, but this is an esports competition. It needs to be entertaining. And by having a greater draft, but having probably better circuits as well. I mean, there's no Red Atlanta, there's no Nürburgring, and we've replaced them with Fuji and Saudi. Yeah, are much better race circuits.
Jeddah's been a hit for me. I've enjoyed the racing. It looked a bit funny when I was watching like qualifying. I was like, I don't know, this is going to work for GT3s, and then, bam, stellar races started to happen, door to door. Obviously, respectful.
Big crashes.
Yeah,
we love to see it.
That was a big one. But yeah, fantastic stuff. I've been enjoying the racing.
Welcome to Multi Apples for watching along, and Matt's as well saying it's a pretty good watch, but knowing how bad it drives kind of ruins it for me. I sort of get what you mean, Matt, when it comes to Rennsport, and of course you want to, you know, have, I guess, a lot of respect for the drivers as well, and, you know, if it's not necessarily a sim that you enjoy, then becomes a bit more tricky. I think a lot of sim racers find that with F1 esports, I guess. Yeah, there's no doubt that the best of the best are in this one.
For me, it's changed so many times how it drives.
Sure.
Like, I don't know how the guys keep up. At one stage, it felt really close to iRacing, which was weird, and now it's back to feeling a bit more R-Factor 2, and then it's changed again. Like it seems to be they're not afraid of change. That's apparent, but let's see where it lands. In an undisclosed period of time.
So of course, if you want to check out how Apex Racing Team do, check out tomorrow. It should be really good. Going to be weird racing tomorrow. I mean, of course, it's going to be 4 drivers in each race, we believe, against 4 drivers from another team against 4 drivers in another team. So it's a lot of teamwork. And of course, it's 3 different cars as well, and the cars aren't identical. So there's going to be some circuits where we've got the advantage, some circuits where we're back. So I mean, it could be a possibility that some races there might be a front 3 locks out by one team, and they can just bring it home. It's going to be really tactical racing like we haven't seen in the series before.
What it also does is put, all right, there's a lot of pressure on the drivers' championship for a driver and the teams, yes, sure, but there's a lot of pressure on the team drivers tomorrow because, you need that 4 of you in to lock out the points. If one of you is just a step back, you are going to be feeling it. When the 3 are in voice chatting away, like you're just not helping right now. So they're going to be feeling it, but I hope the racing's good. I worry that because you're having, it's a grid of 12, but there's only, 3 teams, could get a little weird.
I remember when we used to have, what was it called? Lewis was talking about it earlier. There used to be a championship.
VCO.
Yeah, it's that VCO. I think it was VCO. E something. I can't remember what it's called. But in that, basically, sometimes you had 6 car races, and you had 3 drivers on one team and 3 drivers on the other team. And it was a bit naff, because basically you'd get 2 drivers at the front into turn 1, and then they would just defend, basically. And it would be like, well, that guy's in the lead, so he's going to win the race. Obviously, this second place guy will defend for all he can, try to get the third place driver involved. And there was very rarely any changes, really. And despite the fact that there were like 3 lap races, it actually dragged somehow, because it was like, well, we know what the result is after one corner. So I think this will be better than that. I think this is a better mix by having 3 teams involved. And of course, we know that all the drivers will be.
But there's so much money on the line. So we'll see how it plays out. I mean, I'm still calling for, I want to see all these guys in a race together, qualifying, and I want to see them battle. Like, I like this format, but I want to see one race where they're all in the same race, not this group stuff. But
sure,
beggars can't be choosers.
So I think we'll move on. Of course, shouts out to ApexRacingSim.com, because the VRS Summer Sale is still going on. There is 30% off VRS products, including their wheelbase and their wheel rim.
There's bundles, individual
bundles
process
as well. Yeah,
it's pretty big.
So do check out ApexRacingSim.com if you are interested in purchasing any of those products. And of course, also news from Apex Racing League earlier on. Sportscars Season 2 got announced. That's GT4, and TCR cars racing in that series. 10 rounds on some very good circuits. So you do check that out over at apexracingleague.com.
Monday evenings UK time?
Monday evenings UK time, yep. 8 o'clock UK time. Let's have a look at a couple of moments. What's this one? Oh, so this was good. Round 8 of the championship of Vicmosec World Challenge, and this is pretty much what the title came down to. It was GT3 Pro Championship, and this is Jagotta getting out to the pits, and he got ahead of Copeland. It's not really much of a moment, but this is pretty much what the championship came down to, because it was a winner-takes-all race. Jagotta got ahead with a shorter pit stop and managed to win the title. So congratulations to Leo for managing to win the championship. This is just a fantastic curse.
Larry and ran a half-second faster than Tanner Dibble on that last lap, but he's now almost 3.5 seconds back from our leader. So he's lost some time.
maybe
And,
more.
oh,
Maybe it wasn't too clear
Oh.
from that one, but basically he's
oh
saying
my, as
how
Petrowski
good
clouts the
pace he's
wall.
got. And
And,
then
he
they
is,
think that this,
like,
the commentators
well,
think
let's
that this
see if
is
he's gonna put
a,
that car back
Larry
out on
and
track,
Greg, I
but,
think,
you know,
think that this is a
same place, Larry.
toe
We've
back.
been
I think that's a
talking about
DQ.
that corner.
Do you think
turn
that's a
10
DQ?
all night long,
I think
the
he
Dunlop
drove backwards
corner.
too far.
And he just
No, that was a
gave up
toe.
and said,
Oh, you think that was a
"That's it."
toe?
Yeah, because
Called the toe.
the DQ would have happened when he was travelling the wrong way, because he came to a stop for a while.
You think? I thought there was like a... I thought he was sort of driving backwards and then there's like a delay of 5 seconds or something.
Could be, but yeah, it looked like a toe. I think he had, I don't know. It was a bit weird, right? Because he only had half spin. Why would you toe? So yeah, I see the context of why he thought that.
This was a good battle for the GTP lead.
Move backward
We
up
won't
to
go around the
ninth.
entire lap, but it's yeah, it's a
Basically,
good
the
fight.
ones who are watching, have a look at this
Dibble versus Grant.
plant. I suspect we'll
Ah.
see a
Is this Nerf
defensive
GP?
move for Dibble.
Yeah,
There
this
it
is
goes.
Fuji.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, of
That's
course.
a lot of defense. Grant's gonna hold
Oh.
him to it. They're gonna go
And
side by
Grant's
side.
already
Grant's got a
going on
nose
the
ahead.
outside.
Look at this. Grant's gonna hold him down the inside.
Doesn't quite
As
get
the-
past
as
that.
the track is gonna
But then they
switch
continue
back the
alongside
other
into
way,
T2.
coming out of turn 2 and into 3.
They leave each other room. This
And
is
then into
beautiful.
100R.
For Dibble.
Then he
Pushing
sends
Grant.
another
Grant's gonna stay
send.
out
Oh,
there and
Grant's
take
gonna
it.
go deep, deep. We said he's
But
great on the
Dibble stays,
brakes, Larry.
hangs
He
on. Now, of course, they're using, as you saw before, they're using the
Section
alternate
here,
layout.
just,
The no chicane, the no chicane, yeah.
No chicane, yeah.
He's gonna have to do it on the front
Which I
straight
don't think
before
is
the
good.
stripe. Nope, he's gonna
That's
try
No,
very
I don't
defensive.
here.
And in the end, Grant made a
Shove
bit of
the
a
nose
mistake
in. I
here,
don't know if
and
he
that managed to keep Dibble the lead, and he held on for
Oh, checkered flag. I'm
good
sorry, you are
race
right.
win.
We're crossed a minute,
And you
an
see
hour
Barney, the
15,
flag man,
and
had to
taking
change
the
flags.
checkered flag here on the left.
So, yes, good battle there. Matt's Yestrian back and saying, I hope there's no instance from the Radical race. It was total chaos on Sunday from Radicals. Drivers underfueling or like getting pit lane exit. The top first and third both sped on pit lane exit.
What track?
Phillip Island. It was a totally bizarre one. However,
I love Phillip Island, I must add, but it's one of my
Oh.
favourites to race.
do you follow MotoGP at all?
I do not.
Okay, well,
Fortunately.
you should follow MotoGP. You should be a MotoGP fan because every MotoGP fan will agree with you because they absolutely adore that circuit. There was a funny pit entry. We can watch this. Annoyingly, here we go.
Just looking at the drivers at the top, as Smellis now comes into the pits as well.
Oh
And we are getting.
It is an
Ooh.
annoying pit entry
Oh,
here.
no,
Yeah, sped
no,
big
no.
time.
Oh no!
And then he
Oh,
crashed.
no.
I don't think he actually got a hold. I mean, I think what
Oh.
animal do you think he looks like here?
What animal do I think he looks like there? I don't know. A radical.
I think he looks like a praying mantis.
I don't see it. Sorry,
Eh?
I can't unsee a radical, mate.
I think there's
Nah, nah,
also
nah,
like
What that damage though?
I think there's also a monster creature.
Oh.
Is it Cloverfield? I think he looks a bit like a Cloverfield monster as well.
I don't know why that was so.
Joe, out of the
heartbreaking to
last
watch
corner
as
here,
La
my
Liga
first time
gets
ever
that
representing
pass
Apex Racing Academy name in an endurance 3 hour solo. And it was the first, I remember asking Alex, I was like, can I run the name? He was like, yeah, I ran Apex Racing Academy #7. I was like, damn, leading the race. Last corner, I just tracked out too far and clipped one
Oh,
tyre
man,
on that
yep,
grass.
Yep. And straight into
Mash
the
into the wall.
pit wall. Yeah.
I'll never forget that. Not my finest moment. Oh well.
Yeah, it's an awesome circuit which should be visited more though. Love it if it became free on iRacing. Especially since I got that supercars deal. Would be nice, but
Yes.
yeah. So I think that is all the news that we had to go through.
I think so. Yeah, Moza killing it. Exciting to. Obviously, it depends. Price, software, and is it any good? Right now, like they're telling us all the things we want to hear. If it's 1,500 quid per pedal, software's a bit clunky, and people aren't a fan of it, then it's in the bin.
Sure.
Raceroom, I'm excited about trying it. Like, I mean, they're brave, right? There's no Raceroom 2. They're supporting this game for as long as time.
Yeah.
Must be as long as time. Then other games on the horizon. Jarno, Opmeer going to Red Bull. Yeah, I mean, Jeddah looks awesome. I was not a fan. Like, I was thinking, Jeddah, bah. What, like, I don't care. And then I saw it, and I was like, wow. Then I saw the racing, and I was like, okay, impressed.
Would you like to see? Do you know about the Saudi circuit that they're making in the middle of the desert at the moment? That big resort thing.
I've heard about it. Yeah.
I mean, that would be an obvious circuit. I feel like for
What's
me.
it called?
so-
Money Island. I don't know. No, I know nothing.
But that seemed obvious. I don't know why they haven't. Maybe they are already making it, but like, yeah, they should put that in Rennsport, hype up the track a bit more, and obviously, if it is a bit different in real life, then they can change it accordingly. That would make sense. If we're having that Saudi circuit, we should have the crazy 7-mile long Saudi circuit round a resort and mountains and stuff. So yeah, I look forward to it. That is everything from us. So of course, thank you for tuning in. I won't be back actually next week. I think hopefully it'll be Jamie Fluke actually who's doing this podcast next week alongside David.
Oh, awesome.
But David's smiling
I'm playing.
rudely.
No, I'm playing.
But and of course we've got Endurance next week as well. GT3 Trophy in 2 weeks' time. And loads of other broadcasts on Apex Racing TV, so do check it out. And of course, check out our social medias as well. And of course, do follow follow all the action from ESL R1 supports Apex Racing Team. It's on Twitch from pretty much middle of the afternoon to fairly late at night. So for tomorrow and for Sunday as well. So do check all of that out as well over on Twitch, and there'll be a YouTube stream as well. Just follow ESL R1 for that. But we'll say goodbye for now, and we will see you back next week.
Ciao.